Okay. This video is going to get a little personal, but there are things that need to be said here. So a bunch of people basically kind of got together one day and decided to try and pick apart why I'm having so many problems. And this kind of introspection is very uncomfortable for me, but I think it needs to be said. So, one of the things they determined is that apparently I have an attitude problem that makes me unfit to fit in with society. The solution is that I basically need to be bullied until I become humbled and, you know, accepting and all this other good stuff. To which I kind of have to clap back and say, I have been bullied for 32 years of my life. Pretty much not a day has gone by that I have not been bullied at some point, one or another, by people who are not of my immediate family. So I would say that bullying is the reason why I have an attitude and why I am the way I am today. Now, for the most parts of my early life, it didn't matter as much because I at least had people that I could call friends and that I could count on to be loyal and accepting and all that good fun stuff. That changed roughly about 2001 when I entered middle school. Suddenly, I was no longer surrounded by people that I could call friends, and my peers basically ostracized and outcast me. So I was basically left to suffer at the hands of my peers for the, well, rest of my effective life. So that's another, I would say, 21 years of actual effective bullying in total, and the solution is that I need to be bullied even more. I don't necessarily agree with this. I'm kind of the product of a society that says you need to stand up to bullies and, not let them push you around and whatnot. The thing is that I tried to suck up to the people who were effectively bullying me because, well, that was pretty much effectively anyone and everyone. I didn't really have any friend groups going around. I didn't really have anybody at all. Basically, people who just tolerated me and kind of kept me around so they could bully me and, shame me and all this other fun stuff. You'd probably say, well, that's because you were a weeb. Well, no, I didn't really kind of get into that scene until I was much older and about midway through high school. During the middle school years, I was basically just trying to figure out why it is I was ostracized. Apparently, I wasn't as charismatic as the rest of my peers, which didn't help things any. Well, the problem is that now I'm an adult, I'm all grown up and whatnot, and everybody has moved on in their lives to do adult things, and those bullies have now effectively moved into positions of authority. How and why, I have no clue, but I would say it's because they bullied their way into those positions, and they were also effectively more charismatic as me. This world is basically run by extroverts. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's a problem for people like me. So now those same bullies that I determined that effectively, sucking up to during my middle and high school years were not worth doing so. So basically, I just kind of said fuck it and moved on. Now they're the ones in positions of power, and I gotta kiss their ass and suck shit and do what I need to do in order to survive. Well, I have a problem with that. Again, because paradoxically, I was raised on the notion that you need to stand up to bullies and, make it clear that you're not going to let yourself get pushed around. That's generally where my attitude comes from, and that's why I am considered to have a problem with authority. Why? Well, the authority is now the very bullies that I said, I'm not going to take your fucking shit anymore. So here I am, a very confused 32-year-old who doesn't understand what the fuck society has twisted itself into now. And this is generally why I don't like to socialize with people outside in generally real life. Because when you're effectively an outcast of outcasts, to the point where nobody really cares to hang out with you in the first place, you don't really get invited out all that much. And when you do, you just end up being a punching bag for everyone else. So you go online, you find the places that are more accepting of you than you have been in meat space, and that's generally where you stay. And the solution for that is to just be bullied until I get out there and I don't know, fit in or something. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Because the solution to my problems and why I am not socially acceptable and, you know, a successful member of society is to continue to be bullied until I get it. But paradoxically, I'm supposed to stand up for myself and not take any shit. This is a dilemma, and one that has no easy solution. I am the way I am because of being bullied, and I need to continue to be bullied until I am socially... Yeah. See, this is why people are so fucked up in the head. And honestly, anyone who says, now hold up, Chief, I did okay for myself and I went through the same process, you're just a fucking wimp. I would say if you went through the same process that I did and you were bullied the same I was, are you really okay yourself? I would make that argument. I would sincerely make the argument that, Chief, if you suffered like I did, are you really okay yourself? It's like the entire thing is designed to produce people who are one step away from being a complete and total psychopath. And the only reason I haven't been coerced into becoming some kind of sick-in-the-head mass shooter myself is I've taken a step back to look at that and said, that's not the kind of legacy I want to leave behind. Even though that's the route that I have been put on. It's the path that people are pushing me down, and I am trying to resist going down that path. You know, it's shit like this that actually kind of makes me sit down and wonder if the people who say that all masculinity is toxic may have a point. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to suddenly switch over and agree with them solely on everything they say. No, because they're still doing their own mental gymnastics and hypocrisy twisting in and on and of itself, and I don't like that. That's why I have a problem with this now, is because of the mental gymnastics here. Which then I have to which then begs the question, why would I accept the mental gymnastics over there? But for this, I can see that maybe they have a point. If this is the direction that we are being pushed, are we really okay? I don't know. I really don't think we are. Because if everyone's getting pushed down the same path and we're all one step away from just going batshit crazy mass shooter, then I think that's a problem we really need to solve. And here's the kicker. The kicker is that the entire branch of psychology has pointed this out, and they're still right, even though I hate what they've done to me. They have not helped me in the slightest, but this is where I gotta give them credit in that they get it right. You know, we could and should be doing things differently. But no, I mean, this is what people want to go back to. This is what is considered the norm. And I'm just not sure we've been doing this right. Because if the end result is, you know, people like me who are effectively kind of caught between, you know, trying to be a good person and one step away from becoming a psychopath, you know, that's kind of a rock and a hard place, and it's kind of hard to try and figure out where exactly you need to be for this. But in any case, I'm just rambling at this point, and, you know, I'm probably going to catch flack on both sides about this. But ultimately, you know, maybe I'm just screaming into the void.